Okay, I'm just setting the live stream up. I'm just about there. So, pretty much ready to go. So we are at Turweston, which is to the northwest of London. If we go and have a look on the map, I can show you where that is. So we're over here. And let's go and narrow this down because we're not going to need much in the way of information over here. And we're going to fly from Turweston for Denham, and let's go and turn off the recentering in Little Map. I wish it would remember that. Denham, Fair Oaks, Red Hill, Rochester, Thurrock, Andrewsfield and Earls Colne. So hopefully we'll be able to get into all of these airfields. There's some grass ones along the way, so it should be good fun. I'm just going to turn off the view of the AI traffic so we don't have that to deal with. Also, we're going to go and run Navigraph in the background just for a bit of fun along the way in case we want to go look at it. So we'll go into Little Nav Map, go to the flight plan, copy it to the clipboard, and then unload whatever was in Navigraph, do a new flight, click on the pencil, paste it in, get rid of the information, and there's our basic route on the map. We'll go and change this to the VFR map, which fills it in with information, which is quite cool. It looks really, really nice. I've set it to early in the morning on the time, but I put it on live weather, so we should get a little bit of wind along the way. Yeah, 6 knots from the south at the moment, so it's quite calm. Okay, so we're going to go and run SayIntentions as well. So we'll have a play with ATC along the way. We'll be doing VFR. So we need to go and look at our aeroplane. Oh, there's an update to SayIntentions. Why does this always happen whenever I want to go and actually do anything? So far, I've had 4 updates today. I left the computer for 2 days. And Bitwarden is updated, Navigraph updated, various Orbex bits and pieces updated. I've literally spent the last hour updating things. I thought I might get on here quite early, and that hasn't been the case. So this may take several minutes. This will probably complain about Flight Sim being running. Automatically close application, so it's just complaining about SayIntentions itself, which is fine. So I wonder what they fixed in it. No doubt they will now open a browser up and show us what has changed, whether we like it or not. Something just popped up in the background. Okay, so what I was going to say before we had to update that was, right, Golf Mike Bravo Echo Kilo. This is a good portent for the sign of things to come, isn't it? So in identity, we need to put in here Bonanza GMBEK and auto that, and that will tell us what it's going to call us. So we're going to typically be called Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo along the way. It might be Golf Mike Bravo Echo Kilo. Okay, so we'll okay that. And we'll go and choose actually who we want to be on the intercom as well. So we've got at the moment Two-Tone Murphy as our mentor. Let's go and have a tour guide, and we'll have Sarah as our tour guide. And we'll minimize that out of the way. Okay, so let's go and give Sarah a quick call. I'm just going to check the volumes as well. I'm going to turn the airplane up, or turn the simulator up, so we should. I'm going to keep the volumes on while we make this first call, just to make sure everything's sounding good. Okay, hi Sarah, how are you doing today? I'm just going to keep an eye on the volumes.
I'm doing great, thanks for asking.
Yeah, she's
How
far
about
too
you?
loud. So, and she came out of the wrong speaker, which is really, really interesting. Now, why did that happen? Default audio output device. No, it's got it completely wrong. It should have been that one. And we want to... We've already got her voice turned down enormously. Let's try that again. Hi Sarah, can you hear me okay? Okay, so I don't think you could hear anything. Oh, you probably heard it through there, didn't you? So I'm just checking this one more time to see what the volume levels are like. They're far too low now. One more time just to see if this works. Ideally I want her to be hitting about -10. Yeah, this is very odd. I can hear her, you can't. Oh, crikey. Why do these software devices do this to us sometimes? So we're going to say to this default audio output device again, and we're going to shut SayIntentions down, and we're going to reopen it again. If Windows is really going to do this to us tonight, I just will shut it all off. Okay, so it's running. And the intercom's coming out of the wrong speaker here again. So what has happened to this? I have set the default audio output device. Aha, there we go. So somewhere along the way Windows had changed its mind. Let's try it again. Checking the audio one more time.
I can hear you just fine. The audio levels are perfect.
Yeah, they're far too loud though for the audience. This is all fun and games, isn't it? The things I have to do to get this to work correctly for you guys. Final time, honest. I want it to get to about -10 for her.
I can hear you loud and clear. The audio levels seem to be good on my end.
She's still too loud. Headset. So I'm going to bring this down as well. So let's go and click on, what do we get here at Turweston? So we've got a CTAF frequency, we've got center, radio check, ramp, and SkyOps. Ramp, com check please.
Ground to flight deck. Comms are good.
Okay, so you can hear that. Good. Okay, we've got that out of the way. What have we got running then? We've got OBS running, we've got Flight Simulator running, we've got SayIntentions running, we've got Little Navmap running, we've got Navigraph running. And we'll go and get the tablet. I've put the route into the tablet already to get us started quickly and easily. So we are going to jump outside the aeroplane quickly though. It does appear that they have implemented the chocks on this aeroplane, and we're just going to have a quick look around to see if they've implemented anything else. I have not looked at the stock Bonanza yet, so I know a lot of the aeroplanes have got a real mixture of what has been implemented and what hasn't. And being a stock aeroplane, you'd think it might have had more implemented, but it looks like it's just the chocks. So Shift C puts us inside, or it should put us inside, now it has. So let's go and turn the battery on. Why is that alternator already on? And battery 2. Interesting that we got no screens. Just looking around to try and remember where everything is in the Bonanza. Let's get acquainted with it. Make sure we've got, actually before we do anything, we're going to go into settings, go to controls and see what we've got configured. So throttle quadrant, yeah, it's on the wrong profile. We want basic throttle and propeller. Let's go and have a look. Yeah, we've got propeller control, so that's worked. Notice the internet's on the go slow. we're still waiting for the cockpit to arrive. There it comes. So that's the server end. It's nothing to do with me. So that's a really good portent for the future for this flight. So throttle's working correctly, propeller lever's working correctly. So we're going to go foot rich mixture, and then we're going to go and slide forwards in our seat and look down here. We're on the right main tank at the moment. So let's go and, before we do anything, go and jump in the aeroplane, go to flight performance, mass and balance, fuel, and we're going to go and fill it up to 75% at least and load it into the aeroplane. And we've got the engines running, but we still haven't got any avionics. So is there a switch down here for it? So, oops. Okay, this is bugged. That's a great start. So this may be the end of us using, or even attempting to use, this aeroplane. Because if we click anywhere near where the yoke is, we can't get to any of the switches. So we may go and do the switches while we can. This is yet another really badly bugged aeroplane, where you have to avoid the invisible yoke. Avionics master switch, there we go. So put the alternators on. So I'm going to do all of the switches now. I know it's not the right order, but given the problem you've just seen with the yoke, hopefully we won't have any other problems. So the avionics is loaded in and it has got the route on it, which is good. I am going to change this to north facing instead of aircraft facing though. So if we go to menu and map settings, and can we get rid of this yoke and still use the FMS knob? Yes, we can. There we go. And then clear out of there. Okay. So we've got the engine up and running. Seems quite happy. If we press Shift and P, will he try and push us back with the propeller running? He probably will, won't he? So we won't bother with that. We just want to get in the air today. We've got no ground here, so we're going to go to CTAF. We've got no tower, I mean, sorry. So we're just going to go to CTAF, which is Common Traffic Advisory Frequency, and we'll just announce our intentions. So we are, if we remember, now look at that. They've almost made that a colour you can't see from your normal position, which is really tough. So we're going to have to remember it. Golf Mike Bravo Echo Kilo. Or in our case, we're just going to call ourselves Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo. We're just going to go and announce to the traffic nearby. So, Turweston traffic, Bonanza Mike Bravo Echo Kilo, taxiing to runway. So let's go and have a look at the runway before we do it. So yeah, we've got a crosswind, so we can pick, and we'll go for 09. So let's put head tracking on. I'm going to go across the grass. Hopefully nobody tells us off for it. So, Turweston traffic, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, backtracking runway 09. So it'll be interesting to go for flight following, seeing as we're going to be flying around the edge of London, to see if we go in and out of different sectors. So as soon as we've taken off, we'll go for the centre frequency. What on earth is this that's appeared at the end of the runway? Something that was a complete garbled mess of colours appeared for a moment there. Yeah, we're not going to be able to turn this round, are we? not without going onto the dirt, because it's got an appalling turning radius. Okay, so let's go and calibrate the altimeter, have a look around. Turweston traffic, Bonanza, Bravo Echo Kilo, taking off runway 09. Whoa, it's really twitchy on the rudder, like really twitchy. I don't remember it being like that in 2020 at all. I don't think I like the live weather either, to be honest. If it's going to be like this the whole flight, it's not going to be much fun. You're not going to see much. Shall we change the weather so we actually get to see some scenery along the way? Maybe we go back to the earlier in the year and we'll go for a few clouds. There we go. We'll actually get to see some countryside. So we're going to stay at about 2,000 feet. Let's get the RPM back down. I'm just trying to get the airplane trimmed out a little bit. It has a tendency to roll left slightly, so I'm just trimming that out. So we need to turn left onto our track. So we've got, what does it say on the screen? About 32 miles to run across the countryside to our first waypoint. So I'll put the autopilot on in a moment. So if we go and set the altitude for 2,000 feet and set the heading bug, if it will let me. You have to use both mouse buttons on it, which they introduced on some of the airplanes in 2024, but not all of them. And then we go autopilot on, heading mode on, altitude mode on, and we'll use flight level change to get there. And if we reduce the flight level change, sorry, the flight level change target down to 130, 120 knots, look at it climb. It's very cool, isn't it? So it's transferring all of this excess speed at the current power level, and it's going to get to 2,000 feet before it even gets anywhere near that target, so it's calculated it can cancel it. That's very clever. So let's go and have a play with this then. So we're eventually going to Earls Colne, but we'll go and communicate with Centre and tell them, you know, where we are, or who we are, where we are, what our intentions are. So we're going to say, now which centre is it? This is a good question. Let's go and do a mic check with them. That will give away which centre. It should be London Centre. London Centre, Bonanza, Bravo Echo Kilo with you, 2,000 feet en route to Earls Colne, requesting flight following. Let's see what it comes back with. Oh, it's London Control.
Bonanza, Bravo Echo Kilo, Squawk 1422 and ident.
Squawk 1422 and ident. Bonanza, Bravo Echo Kilo. So we have to go down here, go to transponder, code, and it was 1422, 1422, and then ident. And then it should come back automatically.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo identified over Burnwood Farm airstrip at 2,000 feet, heading 135 QNH 1013.
So that's just informational, we don't need to respond to that. So we've got QNH, and we're showing it in inches, but it's interesting, isn't it? Of course, yes, we changed the weather. So 1013 is standard barometric pressure, which is the same as 2992 in inches. So let's go and should we sit ourselves up a little bit so we can actually see outside? Although there's a strange propeller anomaly going on, which I don't really like. So we'll keep that out of our view. Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it? Does it always do that? Can you see it from outside as well? I wonder if it's just to do with the sun angle. Let's go and change the time. Yeah, I think it was just the angle the sun was hitting the propeller was causing that. Okay, so we can go and change our heading slightly, put ourselves back across the track. And should we ask the tour guide a few things about the area along the way? So if you say, tell us a bit about Aylesbury. So Aylesbury's just coming up here. So what can you tell us about Aylesbury?
Aylesbury is the county town of Buckinghamshire, known for its rich history and beautiful architecture. One interesting fact is that the Aylesbury duck, a breed of domestic duck, originated here and is famous for its meat. The town also has a famous market square, which dates back to the 13th century, where you can find a variety of shops and eateries. If you're a fan of history, you might enjoy visiting the Aylesbury Old Town, which has buildings dating back to the Tudor period. And here's a fun tidbit. Aylesbury was once home to the famous English poet John Milton, who wrote Paradise Lost. So, if you ever find yourself in Aylesbury, keep an eye out for some literary history.
There you go. So we're all set for cruise. Propeller's good. Power's good. We could go and... I wonder if we can get to these light switches without it breaking the airplane. So they're all fine. Yeah, it's behaving now. How strange is that? So I'm just gonna... That's interesting, isn't it? Look, it's drifted really badly on the head tracking. It doesn't usually, but it's doing it today. I noticed the head position's quite a bit further back than it should be. We should be parallel with the co-pilot, or the co-pilot position is maybe too far forward. But I guess it's because she's got the bun in her. Okay, so 15 miles to run. It should take us about 5 minutes to get to our first airport. So let's go and have a look. So we're coming up to Denham. I don't think it's a controlled airport, so if you look on comm frequencies, yeah, we just got the flight service. So we're just broadcasting our intentions to traffic nearby, so that there isn't any control as such. Although we could go to centre and tell them what we're up to. Normally you wouldn't. I guess we could tell them we're just doing a touch and go and see how they respond. But normally I think it would be frowned upon to...
London Control, Golf Bravo Juliet Delta Echo, flight 7100.
Global Jet Delta Echo, London Control identified. Good evening.
That's interesting. That was has control. I wonder if they've got an agreement with him and taken his voice samples and are using him, or maybe they've done a deal with VATSIM to allow them to sample their controllers, or Has Control is using SayIntentions as well, because that sounded remarkably like him. Yeah, this has drifted up again. Look, if I center it, how strange. Something about it is making the camera drift tonight. It's drifting upwards all the time. We'll just keep an eye on it. It's easy enough to reset it while you're flying. So I'm using the Tobii head tracker, by the way, and it does have this tendency sometimes, for whatever reason, to slowly drift, to lose track of the orientation of your face. It's probably my face may be at fault. Sounds like a crazy thing to say, but... So One Journey has mentioned the PDFs that I make, so thank you very much for that, much appreciated. The frame rate seems to be very, very low tonight. I'm not sure, maybe it's this mist. Even though I've set it to few clouds, is that... Yeah, the frame rate is not as smooth as it normally is. There's something going on with the sim. It may be related to this aeroplane with these things we're seeing. Let's go and see if the time affects it at all. Maybe. The room, I've got a lamp either side of the desk, so I am fairly well lit. But you might have a point there. I'll try it tomorrow and see if that hadn't occurred to me. I was going to do some live streams tomorrow, possibly with the A320, because I've not got anything else planned all day other than waiting for the washing machine. So I may have a look at that, of doing some live streams and see in broad daylight if it makes much difference. Okay, so we're 4 miles out. Let's have a look on the map. So Denham, if we go and circle it, so to the left and do left pattern in. So let's come off the autopilot. London Control, Bonanza, Bravo, Echo, Kilo, doing left pattern for touch and go at Denham.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, runway 24, left-hand traffic approved for touch and go at Denham.
Runway 24, left-hand traffic, touch and go at Denham, Bravo Echo Kilo. So if you go and look here, look, we're going to fly all the way around, like I said. And they've done that for the wind. So there's the airfield. I've loaded each of these airfields we are visiting, by the way. I'm using the Orbex scenery for the airfields. There's certainly something going wrong with this because the frame rate seems very, very low. So just reading the comments there from Andrew. I've not got a Pimax. They've been trying and trying to get me to show one on the channel, offering to send me one for nothing for a few months. And I've refused because I don't see how I can demonstrate VR on YouTube. It's such a personal thing that you have to see it to understand the experience, don't you? So I've played with VR. My dad's got or used to have a headset, and it is brilliant, but you can't explain or show to anybody else just how good it can be. So we're just coming in. Misjudged that a little bit, turned too sharply. It drifts quite a lot, doesn't it? Okay, so we'll carry on our route. So flaps up as we pick up speed.
Six request book. 925 kilometer 66. Domin control, bridge service 266.
Felix 266, contact London Control on 130.925.
So we were on London Control. Why would they tell somebody to contact London Control who's obviously broadcasting on London Control? So Joshua is saying, forgive my ignorance, what's the reasoning behind doing a touch and go? Because we can. There is no, it's just practice. Normally you wouldn't do them en route, I'm just doing it to give a bit of interest along the way. So it's a bit of a look at each airport, I guess. So you can see Heathrow over here, we're about to go right past it. So in the real world this wouldn't happen, because this will be interesting actually to see if, I don't think SayIntentions will do anything about where we are. We'll find out. Because look at this. There's Heathrow. We're going to go right past the end of it. If we go and put the sectors on, we're right in the middle of, you know, restricted airspace. Well, there was the simulator broken. I think the simulator may have broken on us. Oh no, it's just not responding to Alt Tab. It's not going. There is something wrong with the computer going on, because the simulator wasn't coming back in front of other applications. I had to minimise them out of the way.
Under control, November 275, Mike Romeo is with you, climbing 3000 on handover from Luton, squawking 2414.
Cessna 275 Mike, Romeo, London Control. Afternoon pilot, Holton QNH 1013.
So yeah, this shows, this kind of gives away some of the limitations of SayIntentions. It's great for
Cessna 275 Mike, Romeo, London Control, where are you headed?
That's not us. As you can see, we are Mike Bravo Echo Kilo.
Destination is East Midlands, Echo Golf November X-ray.
Cessna 5 Mike, Romeo, roger. Destination East Midlands, EGNX acknowledged.
Okay, so we're coming down towards Fair Oaks, so we'll be anticipating runway 24, so we'll go out to the east of the airfield to go left pattern in again. We could do an overhead join, but that would mean coming in a little bit higher and straight over the top of the airport, which I do think that this can handle, but we'll just keep it simple. So we're coming out this way on purpose, and then when we're down behind the airfield, we'll announce
Reaching to 133.705, Skyway 605, bye bye.
Skyway 605, roger, switching to 133.705.
So I'm going to turn
We're
the,
established on course for rect, IC-10, Vision Jet 63 Echo. Vision Jet 63, Echo, roger.
so can we see the airport? Is that over here? I think it is. Yeah, it's just off our left wing, look. London Control, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo requesting touch and go at Fair Oaks. They'll give us instruction of how to approach.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, cleared for touch and go at Northolt, runway 25. Report on the go.
Requesting Fair Oaks, not Northolt.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, cleared for touch and go at Fair Oaks, runway 24. Report on the go.
Cleared for touch and go, runway 24 at Fair Oaks, report on the go, Bravo Echo Kilo. That was good, they understood without a full instruction. That's part of the large language model AI programming where it's getting so much better, where it remembers past conversation. Yeah, so Murphy is saying there that there's obviously lots of discrepancies. It doesn't have local knowledge, but it has kind of, you know, basic pattern entry and exit knowledge. But it's just a good way of keeping your hand in with the phraseology, isn't it, really? That's the main aim, I think, of SayIntentions at the moment. It's not to be, you know, an absolutely correct simulation of ATC. It's to give you the framework to work within, where you can then make it as as accurate as you want around what it can do.
November 5, Mike Romeo. Descending to 2,000 feet now, trembling clear of cloud.
Didn't feel that touch. Strange.
Cessna 5 Mike Romeo, descend altitude 2,000 feet.
Scenery's very good, isn't it? London Control, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, departing Fair Oaks en route to Earls Colne.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, hello there.
That's quite amusing. So what are we looking for? About 110 degrees-ish, 100 degrees maybe, to get back onto the track. I'm going to... Yeah, this is being a real so-and-so tonight, with the head tracking not being exactly where I wanted to be. So coming up to 1,000 feet. I think the main benefit people will get from things like SayIntentions is just being able to converse with something, and obviously it doesn't really matter if you get it wrong, but to be able to converse with a partner that's going to converse back using standard phraseology, so it gives you that opportunity to practice it. And obviously you can, I'm doing it, you know, with all of you listening. So for someone who's just starting out, you can sit there, you know, happily in private talking to the computer, and it's going to demonstrate the phraseology to you. And you can ask the mentor, by the way. So I'll show that to you while we're flying along. So if we go and open up the intercom, I'm going to switch over and use the mentor. I could have the mentor on a different button and leave it available all the time. We'll use chants from Real Sim Gear because it's easy to listen to, and we're climbing way higher than we should. So let's go and pull the throttle and the RPM back a little bit and trim the aeroplane back. Come back down towards 2,000 feet. So let's go and ask the mentor. When you are flying VFR, how should you announce a touch and go or request a touch and go at an airfield?
When flying VFR and you want to announce a touch and go, you should say Bonanza Golf Mike Bravo Echo Kilo on final for runway 24 touch and go. If you're requesting it, you can say Bonanza Golf Mike Bravo Echo Kilo request touch and go on runway 24. This keeps it clear and concise for ATC.
There we go. So it really is just about keeping your intentions clear. It doesn't really matter the order you say things in, as long as it's clear, you know, what your intentions are, and you keep it terse and you don't waffle. So that's, you know, that's really all there is to it. It's not rocket science. I guess learning the phonetic alphabet is the major stumbling block for people who've never done it. But then once you've learnt it, you've learnt it. So let's go and put the autopilot on. and go nav mode, is it going to let us? So we want GPS, and we'll go altitude mode as well.
Cleared for RS126 left, so EasyJet
So it's just putting us back on
EasyJet 28, contact
track.
London Gatwick Tower on 134.23. Gatwick Tower on 134.23, EasyJet.
So we've got Red Hill is our next destination to do a touch and go. So we'll anticipate again, we're going to be looking at runway 26. So going by what the mentor said, we don't really have to say anything about pattern. We can just, you know, arrive downwind and get the permission for, you know, for runway 26. So we can make the decision. But that being said, let's go and have a look at Red Hill. So they've got a tower. 119605. So we don't have to announce we're changing frequency. So we got the tower has shown up, look, because we are near Red Hill. Oh, it's flicking back and forth. That's a shame. So it showed us for a moment. So 119605 was the frequency we want. Is it going to change back again once we get closer? That's interesting. Why did it? Oh, it's changed back again. Look. So before it gets a chance, we'll change frequency. So let's give this a different experience when you're talking to tower versus centre. So we'll talk to Red Hill Tower. Red Hill Tower, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, approaching you from the northwest, requesting touch and go.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, runway 25, right hand approved. Report midfield each time.
Runway 25, right hand approved. We'll report runway each time. Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo. So what they mean by that, right hand means we have to turn right on the pattern. And where it says 26 on here, it's actually 25. So they didn't say 25 left or right, did they? Let's ask them. Red Hill Tower, is that 25 right or left?
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, runway 25, right hand approved. Report midfield each time.
Oh, so they're saying 25 right. Right, oh, yeah, it still didn't understand, did it? It got it wrong. So it just shows you it can not be perfect. So let's go and get onto the downwind and descend down to 1,000 feet. So the pattern altitude would be 1,000 feet above ground level. So we haven't even checked ground level, so we're kind of hot dogging this a little bit. We're not being very correct. We're going to have a quick look on the map and see what it says. So, overview of Red Hill. It's 200 feet, so 1,200 feet would be pattern altitude. So we're flying or almost the reciprocal of 25. So we're at pattern altitude now. And then you drop to 500 feet above ground level, which will be 700 feet for us as you're making the turn. So there's the
Bravo
airport.
Whiskey Oscar Hotel, say parking.
Golf Bravo Whiskey Oscar Hotel, parked.
So get in.
Bravo Whiskey Oscar Hotel, taxis parked at your discretion. Good day.
Because we can't see out now, can we? So we go by the compass. So there's 25, look, coming round. And there's the airfield.
500.
So that's reporting 500 feet above ground level when it shouts out from the...
500.
So we're holding 500 feet above ground level. Trying to look around the pillar, around our co-pilot's head to see the runway. Oh, there is only one runway. So it looked like it was 2 grass runways on little nav map, but this is looking a little, maybe it isn't. But we'll go for the one that's marked with the pappy lights there, and it's got a very distinct stripe, the longer one of the two. It's quite unusual to have a right pattern. Usually it's left pattern, and the reason for that is the pilot has much better visibility on a left pattern. Look at that, the pappy lights will put us in the trees almost, if we followed them. Red Hill Tower, Bonanza, Bravo, Echo, Kilo, departing to the west.
Bonanza, Bravo, Echo, Kilo. Kilo. After takeoff, enter left downwind for a straight out departure to the west.
Straight out departure to the west. Bonanza, Bravo, Echo, Kilo. So we're going to get a little way away from them and then turn and go and carry on with our route. Red Hill Tower, Bonanza, Bravo, Echo, Kilo, changing frequency to London Centre. So it's interesting he didn't come back to us. London Centre, Bonanza, Bravo, Echo, Kilo with you, climbing to 2,000 feet.
Bonanza Golf Mike Bravo Echo Kilo, London Control, evening late Red Hill QNH 1013.
Gatwick departure, good afternoon. November 851 Tango Bravo, with you at flight level 256, climbing to flight level 060.
November 851 Tango, Bravo, London Control identified. Clear direct LAM, climb flight level 180.
Okay, clear direct LAM and climbing to flight level 180. 1 Tango Bravo.
So yeah.
Gatwick departure, good morning. November 851 Tango Bravo, with you at flight level 031, climbing to flight level 060. Outbound for Birmingham.
It's interesting, isn't it? I'm just looking at the live stream comments, so there's a comment there, pappy lights on a grass strip, question mark. Yeah, I thought the same thing. Perhaps it does. Perhaps it does have pappy lights on the grass strip. Maybe because of the proximity of that road. It has, you know, it's interesting that it didn't have Fassi lights being a grass strip. You know, you might imagine Fassi lights, but not pappies, but it has pappies. So maybe it's accurate. I'm just going to drop back down to 2,000 feet and then turn left a bit more and come back in towards our route. So we've got about 23 miles to the next airfield. So let's put the autopilot back on. So we're on GPS mode. Put altitude mode on as well. and it's going to hold us at 2,000 feet nice and neatly. It's coming in at a 45-degree intercept for the course, and then it will straighten up onto it. How are we doing for RPM? We could probably go a little bit faster than that, couldn't we? And a bit more on the power. And if I still have the flaps down, so my bad. So we should pick a little bit more speed up now. We were only about 10 knots above the flap limit speed, but we only had 1 notch of flaps. Okay, we're just straightening up onto the course. You can see on our GPS track we have the guidance rectangles switched on, so if you've not seen this yet in 2024, I don't know if this is new or if this was in 2020. I don't remember this being in 2020. In the PFD options, if you go to SVT, you've got pathways as well as the terrain. So that obviously turns that on and off. It's quite cool though, isn't it? Aha! So Christopher has come in the live stream. So Red Hill does have the Pappies. Yeah, I did wonder with that road being right on the end of the runway, it would seem like a really good safeguard. So when you're on approach, you don't go and get too low over that road. And I can imagine if the wind is hitting that line of trees, it's going to make it quite turbulent for lighter aeroplanes as well.
Gatwick departure, easy 47 X-ray uniform, passing 3,000 feet. What level 200, easy 47 X-ray uniform.
Easy 47, X-ray uniform, London control, identified. Cleared direct DET 31, climb flight level 200.
So Martin is looking forward to the update when they release heavy cargo missions and super heavy missions. So I guess super heavy is going to be the what do you call it? There's the Dream Lifter, is it called? And the A320, or sorry, not A320. There's an A330, isn't there, with a large body that I think it was built for the Ariane parts, or to move bits of Airbus around as well. I'm not sure what the Boeing one is used for. Probably bits of rocket. It would make sense. Okay, so we're 14 miles out from the next airfield. Let's go and have a look on the map. It's Rochester. And what comm frequencies is Rochester going to have? Unicom. So we're down to... So we'll just stay on centre and say when we get near. I imagine they'll give us 20, runway 20. Unless we announce it. We'll try it this time. We'll announce runway 20 when we're downwind. So we'll deviate from our plan slightly to the right. Remember, we're VFR, so we don't have to be flying this exact plan. It's not been filed with anybody. They're just keeping an eye on us on radar to hand us off if we get near edges of areas. Of course, yes, the Antonov. I hadn't thought of that, yeah. The Antonov is a super heavy, isn't it? I need to go back and have a play with that. When it first came out, I wrote the book on it, basically, of how to control it with the autopilot. So I've got a PDF with, and how to start it up as well. So I've got a PDF full of screenshots of all the buttons to press, because it's all in Cyrillic. It's great fun. It flies really well as well. The autopilot's interesting. I recorded a couple of videos back when it first came out, illustrating how the different modes work on the autopilot. So I think it's a true story that they never got around to finishing the avionics on the Antonov, on the 225. So yeah, the real thing literally does have retrofitted Garmin units on board for guidance. It hasn't got a fancy FMS or anything. I can't remember where I read that. So we're going to go back to heading mode, and we're going to turn our aeroplane a few degrees, so 20 degrees off to the right, just to bring us off around this side of the airfield, and then we'll turn left to 20 degrees for obviously the reciprocal of 02 and 20. And then when we're downwind, we'll call. So we'll start descending as well. So we could do that with the autopilot. If you've never done that, you just change the target to 1,000, put it on flight level change, which will put the airspeed marker where you are. Then when you pull the power back,
Delta 5128, climb flight level 270.
the aeroplane will try to maintain the speed by diving.
Delta 158.
Until you get to 1,000.
Delta 5128, climb flight level 290.
Now I want 1,000 feet over airfield elevation though, don't I? So that will be wrong. Let's go and have a quick look. Overview, elevation 400 to 1,400 feet, which we've already gone way below. So let's go and go manual. It's much easier to go manual and do things quickly. You can see that step in the land, which explains that look. You can see the airfield is higher. It's on the top of a plateau here. Coming up to 1,400 feet, which would be 1,000 feet above the airfield elevation. So we're coming to the pattern at the right height. So you can see the Thames estuary ahead of us. So this is Rochester we're just coming in towards. So we're going to go for 20. You can see the runway there, look. Massively wide runway. London Centre, Cessna Bravo Echo Kilo, downwind runway 20 at Rochester for touch and go.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, runway 20, cleared for touch and go at Rochester. Report on the go.
Cleared for touch and go, runway 20 at Rochester. Report on the go. Bravo Echo Kilo. So we just need to get into the right position. Oh, we have company. I put multiplayer on. I suspected this might happen at some point, so now we can't see the airport because they're in the way.
$290 5128 cleared DET.
So we have fussy lights this time. Just going to descend down into them. There we go. One red, one white. Try and hold the attitude on the way in. Keep it on the airspeed. London Centre, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, departing runway 20, exiting to the south. I should have said departing then, really.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, good evening.
There we go, they just say hello when you're back with them, really. Cool, the traffic. It's very cool, isn't it? So we're going to make a wide berth around the airport and continue on our way. Coming back up towards about 2,000 feet. So it's worth pointing out the services like Beyond ATC and SayIntentions are still in heavy development, and they will be probably forever, but they're improving all the time. And the great thing is obviously it improves on the server end without you requiring to do anything on your side. So, you know, from week to week you have conversations with it and it becomes more and more nuanced and impressive over time. Because obviously they're updating it and upgrading it as they go with more and more, you know, knowledge and strategies, and it's very impressive. If anything, at the moment is a good time to get into it because it's not telling you off too much for doing things wrong. And once it gets really good, you'll start to get done for, you know, breaking air laws, I guess. Or doing things in an inappropriate manner. So we're coming up to the altitude we want to be at, so autopilot back on. That's interesting that it's not... Oh, I wasn't on nav mode, that's why. It was trying to turn for the heading bug. And that is... yeah, it's not close enough to the track now, look. Let's turn the autopilot back off. And we'll get it back on an intercept angle. We'll put the heading bug in. I caused that myself. So we'll go and straighten the heading bug up, the direction we're going. Autopilot on. We're in heading mode, GPS when it gets close enough. So it will switch over. let's put the altitude mode on. It's gone to pitch mode, look. So altitude, it's gone for altitude hold, 1730 feet. If we go and say we want 2,000 feet, and we say flight level change to get there, and then we lower the target, say 150 knots, it will translate what we've got left to go up to that last little bit to 2,000 feet. And we can enjoy the view again. Yeah, so it's just switched over, look. It got close enough to the GPS track to favour it over the heading. So it's bringing us in now on an intercept angle. Let's have a look at the map. So we're almost on top of Thurrock Airfield. So do we have any facilities for comm? Has no comm frequency. So we'll just anticipate runway 25 then for the wind. 25 right will go for the hard runway. London Control, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, requesting touch and go runway 25 right at Thurrock.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, runway 25 right at Thurrock, cleared for touch and go. Report on the go.
Cleared for touch and go, 25 right at Thurrock. We'll report on the go. Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo. There we go. We have clearance. So, keep an eye out now, looking around us, looking for the airfield. Is this it down here? It might be. Yep. So let's get off the autopilot. So we're going for the reciprocal of the runway direction, just to leave some altitude. The airfield.
London City departure, Delta Romeo Delta, passing through 2,000 feet to 3,000 feet. Flight level 190, Delta Romeo Delta, good morning.
Cessna Delta Romeo Delta, contact Tim's director, approach on 132.7.
So remember, we're going for the, yeah, look at that. We're almost on target for the wires there, and it's interesting that the PAPI agreed with that. So the VASI lights agreed with that. So to be on the correct target gave you a few hundred feet above the telegraph wires. Steering on this is a little bit twitchy. I'm having to be so careful with it. London Control, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, departing Thurrock to the north.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, roger, continue northbound, you are under basic information service.
Continuing northbound, Bravo Echo Kilo.
Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, roger, continue northbound. You are under basic information service to Earls Colne.
There we go. Coming back up to 2,000 feet, so we've got 20 miles to run. So we'll centre the heading back up, just coming back in towards the GPS track. So we'll straighten that up as well as we do it. You can see the boxes here. So I always, just by pure habit, I always watch the CDI on the horizontal situation indicator. So we're on target and climbing gently up to our target altitude. Altitude mode, GPS mode. And we are on autopilot, so we can relax again.
Elbow 1 Lima arrival, easy 1123.
Easy 1123, expect the Elbow 1 Lima arrival, descent in about 20 minutes.
So,
Elbow 1 Lima arrival, easy 1123.
Our way up to Andrews Field first to go and do a quick touch and go, and then we go to Earls Colne, which is the end of our flight. So De Reuter is asking on the Livestream chat, was that a road or a taxiway that we went on? No, it was actually a very thin runway, a very narrow runway. So 25 right at Thurrock is a very narrow runway. So let's go and find out about the next airfield. Obviously it's got flight service station. So it's probably got a repeating message on there, a bit like ATIS. It has a long, like almost a footpath down the side of it, and a couple of grass strips. So we're 12 miles out. Should we have a look? 13 miles out. Which at our current speed will take us about nearly 5 minutes. Making good progress. It looks amazing sometimes, doesn't it, this simulator? It's very, very clever. I noticed the improvement over the previous sim. It's things like these field textures, for example, with the plough lines in 3D. It's just, yeah, it's incredible what they've done. So yeah, the fields look, they're not flat with procedural grass on them anymore. They've obviously got higher level. Well, they have got higher level or higher resolution scans. They turn it into very, very accurate versions of the ground. It'd be interesting to go and fly over places where you know there have been archaeological digs, where you can see, the patterns of old Roman roads and things. So yeah, for international people watching this, the UK has a long history of being invaded by various cultures, and just beneath the ground in lots of places all over the country you can see old roads and towns that don't exist anymore from hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Quite often
Bonanza Bravo
you can see
Echo
them.
Kilo, Earls Colne, radio airport at your 2 o'clock, 15 miles, change to advisory frequency approved, radar services terminated, squawk VFR.
Change to advisory frequency, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, good day. So we change the CTAF. We don't have to communicate with, well, basically we're close enough now to our destination, they're not interested in us for flight following anymore. So let's go and press head tracking. Hello. And we are almost on top of the next airfield, so I'm going to take the autopilot off. So if we have a look at it, if we go right for 90 degrees, isn't it? Yeah. So this airport is called Andrewsfield. Andrewsfield traffic, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo approaching from the south for a touch and go, runway 27. Let me get visuals on the airfield first though. So it's somewhere over here. That must be a strip there. Parking area maybe over here. So we can get a closer look. Andrewsfield traffic, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo, turning finals runway 27 for touch and go. Fails. Andrewsfield traffic, Bonanza Bravo Echo Kilo airborne. So we want to be going the opposite direction now. So again with VFR, so we don't have to follow any specific procedures other than to look for other traffic, which we're not going to see probably. Unless we've got any multiplayer people who are stalking me at a distance. I've got labels off, so if they are, they're hiding behind me very well. And we're off to our final airfield of the day, which is Earls Colne. Just trimming the aeroplane now. So we're going to go for heading mode on the autopilot, straighten the bug up on the direction we're actually going, and then turn the autopilot on and go for altitude hold. Well, that's gone for pitch hold, it was already on altitude. My bad, there we go. So it's holding it at 1200 feet, which is fine. So, Earls Colne, we're going to go for runway 24. We'll do left pattern, so we'll turn sort of 30 degrees to the right, I guess. So we're just coming across here, and then we'll loop round. So when we're downwind, we'll announce our intentions to traffic at Earls Colne, and we'll be good. Just check that there aren't any other frequencies here. No, it's just the flight service. It's not a controlled airfield. So we'll need to be travelling 80 degrees or so once we get out over the other side of Braintree. So if we have a look on the map, this is Braintree, we're just passing over. So what's the departure of, what's the departure, what's the elevation of the airfield here? So 227 feet. So we want about 1200 feet then, which we are already at. We're already at pattern altitude. So rather than go for 80 degrees, we're just going to go straight for 60. So let's go and turn the autopilot off. Do this by hand, it's much easier. Start bleeding some speed off along the way. And is this the runway over here? Or airport, I should say. Looks like it might be. Earls Colne traffic, Bonanza, Bravo, Echo Kilo, downwind for full stop landing. Runway 24. I should really look these things up before I start talking on the radio. Preparation is everything, as they say. There's the airfield just below our wingtip over there. Okay, now we've lost our speed, which is good. Configure for landing, turning in, descending further. Visuals on the airfield and the VASI lights, which will be really helpful for descending the right amount on the turn here towards final. Earls Colne traffic, Bonanza, Bravo, Echo Kilo, turning for finals, runway 24. Bit low there. So we'll taxi up. So if we get off the runway now, we're slow. Good. Oh, there's some trucks over there, look. Seems interesting. I wonder what that's all about. So just reading the live stream comments there about the south of England, the airspace is so busy. Yep. There's some fantastic videos from Steph now. I always get his name wrong. It's Steph Jury, who flies from Australia, but he came over to visit and did a lot of flying around in British airspace and did some special videos about, you know, the intricacies and the differences about it. And they were absolutely brilliant. He's a very, very good communicator. And, you know, fantastic teacher as well. So sharing his experiences of learning it from his perspective. Okay. I'm going to turn off the. See if we can get some of these switches that. Yeah, look, that's a real. They need to do something about that, because you have to go and play with the various views to be able to operate some of the switches. And I think we're good. So have they made the handles work? Not that one. Maybe That's interesting. So it looks like it should. So does that mean I can then go around the outside of the co-pilot and push the door open? Has it got a lock above? No. So if I keep rolling the mouse wheel upwards, it opens it. It's interesting. So then if I press Shift C to walk around outside, I can see it with the open door. Very cool. So the Bonanza's never had opening doors before in 2020. So they've obviously improved the model. It looks like this is much better than it was previously. So maybe they are moving towards this being study level eventually, and it obviously isn't there yet. But just looking around the modelling of the body, there's a lot more to it now, isn't there? So obviously we can play with the elevators. We could probably do the same with the ailerons, I would imagine. Yeah. And they make noises. Interesting. I wonder if we can open any ports on the engine then. It should open on this side, shouldn't it, on a Bonanza? No, that's not clickable. So that would pop down on one side and flip up the... Unless we've got a latch here that works. No. Okay. Can't expect too many wonders at once, can you? Okay, so yeah, we haven't got any damage to the airplane. So it's not modelled on this one, don't worry. So hopefully you enjoyed that. That was just a bit of a fly around some of these airfields. So these were all Orbex airfields that we visited. They're not very expensive, so if you go and visit the Orbex website, all of the ones you've seen this evening are available for 2024. They've been specifically updated for 2024. I think most of them are Burning Blue Designs, the developer. So yeah, do go and have a look at them. As you can see, they've got all sorts of extra details. So if we were to go and wander around, I'm not sure this is the view to do it in, but you can see there's, if you know these airfields, you'd probably be laughing at, how accurate they are, because they are so good usually. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Do go and click the subscribe if you've not done already, or click on the like button. I'm rubbish at marketing my YouTube channel, aren't I? Take care.